Hold me head when I say that ball. If you hear it, Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, Captain, seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. The oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship or shall we stay on it and perish slow?
We don't know. We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. We don't know. We don't know.
Decent Lucia, oh she was a beauty. With feet years that view surpassed. And in her day, she sailed majestically. There were few in her class. Faithfully, she fulfilled her sailor's needs. But labor was overpowered by greed. And so they pilfered slow, causing scandal and roro. Now things look dull, she's at a lull. She could barely sit on a hull, half we balling. Captain, Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. The oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship or shall we sit on it and perish slow?
We don't know. We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do.
I
don't
say
know.
no, I
We don't
say
know.
no. Captain, you tell me what to do. Decent Lucia, in her day of sailing, she was a friend, a true friend to one and all. And in her day, she sailed majestically. No government doing bubble. And yes, well, she always did her best to help out those in distress. Now she don't have money. We have to beg Joffrey. Labor boys don't share, none of them care. We must vote them out, I declare. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, Captain, the seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. The oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship or shall we sit on it and perish slow?
We don't know. We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. We don't know. We don't know.
You tell me what to do. Now there's a lot of fingers pointing. Suffering going on too long. Kenny must be blamed for all her failures. Labor must be blamed for doing us wrong. Now please remember, I'm warning you, we can't take 5 more years with this crew to hold the keys to her vault. Cause we know who's at fault. So it's up to you, it's up to we, to give the ship to you, WP. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, Captain, seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. The oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship or
Caribbean American News Media State of the Nation with Garfield Oliver. The news you report. Let's get to work.
She always did her best to help out those in distress. Now she don't have money. We have to beg Joffrey. Labor boys don't share. None of them care. We must vote them out, I declare. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we sit on it and perish slow?
We don't know. We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. We don't know. We don't know.
You tell me what to do. Now there's a lot of fingers pointing. Suffering going on too long. Kenny must be blamed for all her failures. Labor must be blamed for doing us wrong. Now please remember, I'm warning you, we can't take 5 more years with this crew to hold the keys to her fault. Cause we know who's at fault. So it's up to you, it's up to we, to give the ship to UWP. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. The oil pressure reading low.
I think I'm ready to drive this. Not yet.
Caribbean American News Media, your Tuesday night power hour. Live every Tuesday at 8:15 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and GBV TV channel 115. Join your host, Garfield Oliver, as he dives deep into the latest inclusion developments, regional affairs, and global issues that matter to you. From politics to the economy, community stories to international headlines. We cover it all with real talk and real insights. Stay informed, get the facts, be part of the conversation. Don't miss out. Set your reminders, share with your friends, and tune in. Caribbean American News Media. The news you report.
They stream the tears and the cheers so clean. From the church to the pitch, they're always near. Tie the knot or score the goal, my friend. GBD TV's got you to win. They stream the highs, they stream the lows. From wedding vows to final shows, through life's twists and the path it bends, GVD's there, it never
Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean.
You are viewing Caribbean American News Media on YouTube and on Facebook. You can also find us on 360 Radio. Your host for tonight is Garfield Oliver. Let's get to work.
All right. Greetings to all and welcome to another Caribbean American News Media platform. The time is 8:19, and we want to thank you so much for being here with us on another beautiful Tuesday evening. Again, thank you so much for being part of this great experience here on Caribbean American News platform. We do value your support here. Please share the live and tag a friend as you come in. Yes, folks, how was your day? As wishing you a beautiful, beautiful evening. Thank you so much to our YouTube channel viewers. We want to thank you for being part of the experience, and also to those of you on our Facebook channel, Lorenz, Chico, Hillary, Dr. Fletcher, and all the others, Laurencia, a whole lot of names over there, too numerous to mention, folks. But greetings. I want you to know that I appreciate you here on the platform. Those of you did I mention the GVD TV channel 115 viewers, I believe that we are live on the air. GVD TV channel 115, that is Flo. Greetings to our friend in Dennery, Mr. Soto. Those of you in Grosley, Babonneau, Bexon, Castries Basin, Vieux-Fort, Soufrière, Canaries, Deriso. There's some other places that I keep missing, La Pointe, Monrepo, Mico North and Mico South. Greetings, friends, Deriso. There's some names that I still have not been calling: Bouton, Canaries, and La Flamingo. All the other beautiful places in the region, and those of you in Guyana, down in Barbies, Demerara, East Demerara, and you're viewing us from Bachelor Adventure. Over there, greetings to all our people. To those of you in Trinidad and Tobago, greetings, Port of Spain, by the Savannah, wherever you're viewing us from, we want to thank you for being part of the experience. St. Vincent, those of you in the smaller chains, thank you so much. And on the mainland, St. Vincent, greetings to those of you in Kingstown, those of you in Barreley, New Montrose, Old Montrose, those of you from Qualaqua, greetings to you, Bel Air, greetings to you, my people. Maybe you're viewing us over there in Jamaica. Greetings, my friends, from the north, south, east, and west of Jamaica. Wherever you are, those of you in Canada, the United States, England, France, name it, wherever you are from, folks, we appreciate you being here. And we have Sandra over there in Trinidad. And I'm sure, Sandra, are you viewing us from Tobago? Yes. Is it Tobago, or you're from what you call that place, man? Not Port of Spain, somewhere out there from Port of Spain. But greetings to all those of you in Martinique. Francis over there in Martinique, greetings to you and the family. Elizabeth, thank you so much for you. Thank you so much, Guy Mayers. Greetings to you, sir. Pleasant good evening to you, my friend. God bless you. And Elita, greetings. Duncan, greetings to you. Gloriana over there on our YouTube channel. I'm not sure what is happening to the chat over there, but I believe it is stuck, and we will get that rectified in due time. But let's move forward with the show. I don't want to keep you long. Now, we had a guest booked for tonight, but because of circumstances, we're not able to bring our guest on, Miss Marcella, out of Grosile, but we have a packed program here tonight that we want to share with you. So please, tag a friend, share the live as you share. Thank you so much, Joycelyn. Fletcher, thank you so much, Doc. Yes, as you come in, as soon as you come in, share the live, and we want you to watch this space, friends. We're about to take off with rapido speed, and here is my commentary for the night. Now, most of you would have seen a barrage of attack from the St. Lucia Labour Party supporters, surrogates. It was, something that maybe we have not seen in the country for a very long time. And I call it nastiness, of course. We cannot add any value to nastiness. Nastiness is nastiness, of course. And it is discouraged in any society that want to progress, any society that want to continue in a civilized environment, a well-orderly and disciplined society. We see this order, and I want to call out the SLP for what was confirmed yesterday or last night as they themselves empowering nasty and dangerous behavior in the country. And no one dares to speak up because they will come for your auntie, your mother, and your nenin. But once you stand like a brave with your face to the foe, you have nothing to fear. With Christ before you and Christ behind you, stand up for the truth. Somebody got to stand on the side of truth, on the platform of truth and righteousness in our nation. Because if we keep quiet, if we remain quiet, even as preachers, then nastiness will take rule and root in our country. And before you know it, you and your country is going to hell, in not even in a handbasket. You're just cruising along down to hell in your red, your yellow, black, and white, all dressed up, going to a hell, looking like you look. But I'm saying to you, friends, that the voices of the people must be heard. The people must use their democratic rights. Religious leaders must stand up and speak up when they hear the nastiness. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. Because many of you believe in a time of trouble, you believe in perilous times to come, and you understand history that Christians were killed. They were considered to be martyred. They were martyrdoms, those who gave their lives for what is right, what is truth, and what is just, equity in the nation. And so many of you are cowards. You're afraid to speak up concerning the injustice and the nastiness that that walks in your country in jacket and tie. It is time to speak up, friends, because we do not have long. We do not have long, and these things, once they take root, very difficult to uproot them. Very difficult, friends. And so what we witnessed between last night and this morning was a confirmation that we got to be careful. Many of you would have seen the attacks, the blatant attacks out there by surrogates of the St. Lucia Labour Party. You would have seen threats and violence against individuals who are using their democratic rights to speak up. The insults and the constant threats and a barrage of insults and propaganda that are leveled at those who just want to see things go right in their country. I am saying to you, I am not going to hold back tonight, because somebody got to speak about it, and it is what it is. What else can they say about you? What else can happen, friends? You know, you got to save your country by speaking up, by daring to be a Daniel and daring to stand alone. And even when it seems unpopular to speak, you got to stand up. What I see is a lot of sick people, individuals who are emotionally damaged, individuals who have gone through childish trauma and pain. And there's a lot of issues that have not been dealt with from the past. And those individuals are out there looking for people to embrace them, looking just to feel a sense of belonging. And here comes politicians and others who mean no good for their country, using those sick individuals with psychological issues, individuals who they're just sick, basically, not because they want to be sick. It is because of experiences that they would have gone through, where there's a mother leaving them, abandoning them, or a father, abandoning them, not getting enough nutrients, food, supplies for schools, grew up in poor families. Maybe some were raped, some were molested, maybe they were abused physically in the home, or, they were treated badly. And those individuals grow up with these psychological issues. And instead of these individuals getting the help, or someone who is smart enough to see that here is an individual who is hurting. And normally when you have a lot of hurting people, they also hurt others. There's always an outburst. There's always the threat. I will kill you. I will beat you up. I will stab you. I will do this to you. Because these individuals are sick. They need help. And most of the times they're crying out in expression for help. But as politicians, you use those individuals to do your dirty jobs. And you use them to do what you will not do publicly. You use those individuals who just need help. You use them. You use them at their lowest moments to go out there and do for you what you will never have your own children to do, because you believe that your children are more dignified and they're professionals, and no, you can't tamper with your image by cursing in public and insulting people. and threatening women and calling them all sorts of names like cemetery, Boudin Cemetery, and all these nastiness. And say that this one, that, and some of those things I don't want to mention them. They're sickening. They upset your stomach. And you will not encourage your own daughters and sons to behave in such a way. But privately and secretly, you will use those individuals who are loosed on the tongue, who you consider have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Your children have everything to lose, but not those surrogates. You hide behind them, and when they ask you for help, you say to them, well, you know we ain't owe you nothing. Pushing those individuals in deeper depression. And with an already damaged mind, you inflict more damage that is sometimes deadly for the individual. And under those lives, individuals, women with children and men with children and grandmothers clap and celebrate and sponsor the nastiness financially and promote it as something normal in our society. It should never be accepted as the new norm. Television stations need to be held accountable too for the type of programs that are placed in the public domain. We got to protect our children, our society, and shame on any government that does not stand up to clean up media houses and the airwaves. And I challenge the incoming government, United Workers' Party, clean up the airways. Clean it up. In cleaning it up, you're protecting our children and our generation to come. But clean it up, or you will account one day for inaction. And don't act now as though you don't know where all this nastiness is coming from. Clean it up. And I want to say my second piece before we go forward. And this is for you Labour Party supporters and surrogates. The internal affairs of the United Workers' Party is not your business. Don't be concerned about our caucus or about our chairman or about our political leader. That's not your concern. That's not your problem. We will deal internally with our problems. And for individuals who are sharing information with these with surrogates of the St. Lucia Labour Party, shame on you. And I hope you feel good about yourself. But I will say to you, if you are united and strong, and you understand the mission of the United Workers' Party, you will never, ever engage in such nastiness. Internal matters should be kept internally. It should be kept internally. So to those who are fighting the chairman of the United Workers' Party in public, wrong place. There are processes, there are private conversations that you can have. But it is not acceptable to encourage anyone to insult and to humiliate your political leaders. And I say this publicly. Nobody asked me to say it, but I observe. I listen over a period of time. And the wise man says, be few in words. Listen more. The fool is known by his many words. And the fool don't even know that he has no wisdom because he's a fool, of course. But the Bible says if the fool understand his foolishness, then the fool will seek wisdom. He'll ask and he will receive enough so that he can keep his mouth shut. Whole set of nonsense, saying a whole set of nothing. Doesn't edify, it doesn't move, it doesn't inspire. It does not. So I call you out. The internal affairs of the United Workers' Party, it is not the priority of the Labour Party. They need to mind their business. They themselves have enough internal to deal with. They have internal in Vieux Fort. They have internal in Castries with Guy Joseph constituency there. There is enough concerns for them. And they also got to figure out how to bring in Mr. King and Richard Frederick into their party. They have enough internal. They also got to deal with their disgruntled surrogates that they recruit. It wasn't the United Workers' Party who recruit them. You recruit your poison. You recruit the nastiness. Therefore, you deal with your nastiness. And if you think that we have nastiness on our side, we will deal with our nastiness because we don't encourage nastiness. A matter of fact, you have seen, we have proven to you over and over again, not only you, Labour Party, but we have proven to you as a nation that when nastiness pops its ugly head ever so often, we expel nastiness. Every time disunity, like Lucifer in heaven, happens and war breaks out in the party, we always give you those poison. We always give you all the disgruntled. We always give you the miserable ones who cannot work with anyone and do not understand how to agree to disagree, how to wait in line for their turn, how to support the one who is elected in a democratic process to be the leader over them. So we give you those dysfunctional ones. We have proven over and over how to deal with dysfunction, so we can deal with our dysfunction. We can deal with our caucus. We can deal with our candidates, disgruntled or no disgruntled. We can deal with those who feel hurt among us. We can deal with those who feel neglected, dejected, and rejected. We can deal with them once they want us to deal. We know how to compromise. And we know how to settle our soldiers. And when the soldiers are the ones who decide that they don't want to be settled, we know how to invite them over to you. We give them a one-way ticket because you have a nice way of baptizing the unbaptizable, if that's a word, of course. But I just want to say to you, we can deal, thank you, no, thank you and thank you for your advice. We can deal with our problems or our issues as they come. But be it assured to you that we are very focused on our mission. We are very focused on the agenda, and that is to remove you. We're not distracted. We can do both things at the same time. We can argue with ourselves. We can deal with our dysfunctions. and our eyes are still fixed on you and the nastiness in the nation. We can do both at the same time. And we have proven that over and over again when you said that Mr. Shastner would be elected as Prime Minister over your dead body. We did it over your living body. We didn't wait for you to die to do it. He won while many of you were still alive. And you're still alive because you heard me, of course. So keep on with your never. And I'll assure you that we'll defeat you. Because what we're seeing today, we could not imagine. We thought of it and we heard the rumors that you guys were setting up all this nastiness. You were buying videos of people's private parts and with girls and by the market you go in your vehicle to pick up those videos from the girls. We know all the nastiness. We know you guys walking into churches disrupting. We know all what you're capable of doing, of course. Turning farmers against themselves to destroy their own selves. We know what you're capable of doing. So our eyes are very much open. So don't you ever think that all the nastiness that you're doing out there on social media is going to stop what is on its way. That storm is coming, relentless in its fury. And everything that can be shaken will be shaken. And all your bright lights will grow dim as that storm approach, because many of you have no extra kerosene in your lamp. You are burning or you are glowing on smoke. And I can guarantee you, like I said to you, we can deal with internal affairs. Because we have an internal affairs real McCoy that can deal with the matter. At this time, we move on. All right, so let's get down to business. We have a number of issues that we got to deal with, and I just want to say to the United Workers' Party supporters who are in the diaspora, you're not in the country, don't add extra burden on those who are on the ground working. Control yourself. Discipline yourself. Get out of the way so that those on the ground who are feeling the pain, they can focus on what they got to do on the ground. Stop the nastiness. Stop your nonsense. Pull yourself up. You're big people. And give the people in St. Lucia a break. Those who are on the ground. If you are support, be support. Don't be a burden. Don't be a distraction. So, I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman that I am growing dearly to love. You know, as a mission, I'm going to share with you, our candidate for Castries North. I'm going to put him up on the platform at this time. He has a promotion, and I'm going to put him up so that at least you will know who I'm talking about.
It's time to turn the page. It's time to unite.
He's here, and we're ready for change.
I grew up right here in Castries North. Some of my earliest memories, my best memories, are in this church, where I learned the importance of community, of giving back, and for looking out for your neighbor. I've walked these streets. I'm rooted in this community, born and bred in Castries North. The lessons I've learned, the friendships I've built were right here. They've shaped me. I've had the honor of serving our country, first as a civil servant, then as a regional diplomat and an ambassador. And while I've been proud to serve, what is happening here at home really concerns me. Times, they're hard, while only a select few benefit. Our community, it's been divided, split by politicians more focused on power than on you. And we've all paid the price. It's time for something different. I'm committed to serve you. I will never betray you. I will not put my interest above yours. So, please, let's come together for a stronger, brighter future. Castries North, united.
So let's analyze some of this, right?
All right, so there you are, friends, right in the wrong, right in the wrong. And that is Mr. Stephen Fevrier. And he is from Castries. He is the representative for Castries North. And one of these days, I think he's scheduled for our program this month. We have an entire booking already. Now today, this booking for tonight, we were not able to uplink it, but we are set for a number of our candidates to be on the platform. So you'll have to bear with us as we try to get them into our technology so that they can be live on the air. So, all right, so you got to have patience with us as we endeavor to introduce them to you. Now, the United Workers' Party had a program that is the Sisters of the South, and I believe we have a picture from that, a photo of that event to share with you folks. Here it is, and it seems like it was well attended. It was a beautiful, successful event. It shows that you supporters are fired up and you are ready for what is to come. Okay? I also want to share with you a picture that I came across that is the Honorable Alan Chastanet and also Mr. Dr. Kenny Anthony. These are two former prime ministers, one of the Labour Party and one of the United Workers' Party, just enjoying a moment in each other's presence. And this is what we need to see. I'm not sure if the present prime minister have it within him to do what we are seeing here, but we in time will fix that problem, because I consider it to be a problem. Now let's go over quickly to the State Department, the United States State Department, and this one I came across today, and we'll swing back over to St. Lucia to deal with some major issues there concerning GPH and the Bananes Bay housing crisis. We're going to go back there, folks. Yes, we are going to go there. But I just want to share with you some information that I received today through our wire, and that is the U.S. Department spokesperson Tammy did issue a statement to the Central American government on the Cuba issue. Now, the State Department is concerned about what they consider to be the Cuban medical scam. They believe that the Cuban workers are being exploited, and they're being underpaid, they're being abused, and so the United States right now is restricting visas. They are taking very serious action, against Central American government personnel. We'll go over to a report from the State Department, and that is from Tammy.
Visa restrictions on several Central American government officials who are responsible for deals with the corrupt Cuban regime to import medical personnel in their forced labor scheme. As Secretary Rubio notes, these steps promote accountability for those who support and perpetuate these exploitive practices. The Cuban labor export program abuses the participants, enriches the corrupt Cuban regime, and deprives everyday Cubans of essential medical care that they desperately need in their homeland. Our goal is to support the Cuban people in their pursuit of freedom and dignity, all while promoting accountability for those who contribute to a forced labor scheme. By pursuing these visa restrictions, the U.S. is sending a clear message about our commitment to promoting human rights and respect for labor rights worldwide. We encourage other nations to join us in this effort.
All right, so that was the State Department of the United States of America starting those series of restrictions that we spoke about concerning two things, the Cuban government and also the influence of China in the region. And so we are seeing movements right now there in the United States of America. So we're going to go over to the situation with the Bananes residents, the Bananes Bay residents there in Castries, St. Lucia. We're hearing that as a result of the GPH deal, that deal that the government signed, I think is a 30-year deal with the opportunity to extend to 40 years. Now we are seeing the full impact of that GPH deal. As a matter of fact, most St. Lucians are not aware of what is in the deal. Many of them don't understand it. And the Bananes Bay residents, the fisher folks there, and the small business people are now feeling the whiplash of that deal. Let us go over to a report, and that report is by Miriam Montoute of the DBS News World.
Pushes forward with its plans to redevelop the Castries port. Some residents, fishermen and business owners at Bananes Bay have expressed dissatisfaction with the offer on the table for them to vacate the area. According to residents, they were first offered land. Now they say they are being offered money under the terms that they would receive the first half of the money when they break down their structures and the other half when they vacate the area.
Government cannot just put people out just like that. You understand? Because we had a place living for so many years. You understand? And now they want to just put us out and we don't have nowhere to go. So I don't feel that really is a good thing for us.
Some residents are now squatting near the Dr. Betty Wells Urban Polyclinic, formerly Victoria Hospital, as they dismantle their homes. However, they say they will soon have to leave the area where they are squatting as the land they are on is being sold. Meanwhile, concerns are growing over what will happen to the mentally and physically disabled still residing at Bananes.
What can a crippled man do? The man can't even get on top of the wheelchair himself. Like some people, they are a little habilitated. They will get on the wheelchair themselves, even though they're there. They'll be able to move around. But he cannot do nothing for himself, and he's there. Okay? The other man is mental, is papi sure he will speak. So people like that, you would have to take care of them, make a place for them, then take them off. But I was watching some of the people who come and work. They was looking at the area where the mental man is, and the man who is on the wheelchair, like probably they might want to start their work there first. Okay? So what are they going to do with the mental man and the man who is crippled.
Residents still at Banan say they remain in talks with GPH. One business owner says they will promise the chance to resume operations once construction is complete. While many welcome the development, they say they would have preferred land over money for relocation. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
Now, I'm going to have a go at this because I think there's a lot that we can speak about. Bear with me. I got to oil the throat, of course. Now, there's a lot we can speak about with this whole GPH deal. Now, I'm trying to find the information, friends, where under the United Workers' Party, I believe the Honorable Alan Chastney, under his leadership, I believe that there were plans in place for the relocation of these individuals. And I am trying my best to find the information because I believe I did at some point heard Mr. Healy and the St. Lucia Labour Party opposing the removal of these same individuals by the waterfront there. Relocation. The place does not look good, for one. And you see the garbage and the plywood structures, and it's not looking good and really need to. But I would not imagine that at one point you're offering the residents cash, another time you're offering them land, another time you're saying you can stay, another time you're saying, so there seems to be a level of disrespect. It sounds to me like the government have just said to GPH, you deal with the people. This is not our problem. You deal with them. Give them whatever you feel you can give them, and don't worry about it. They will take it. I'm going to ask the government and the representative for that community, Minister of Housing too, of course, and the Prime Minister. What is the plan for the residents? What was your plan when you went into negotiations with GPH? When you went in to that GPH deal, and you cannot say that the opposition fell asleep on this one, they challenged you guys. They called for accountability. They complained. So my question is to the government of this country, the leaders, what in the world were you thinking while you were negotiating this GPH deal? Question. Did you ever consider these people living along the waterline here? Another question. What was your overall plan for the Bananes Bay residents? Now, I normally pause for you to answer, of course, because I know the easiest thing to do is to curse me and to say all manner of things, of course, about me. But the question still stands. What in the world is happening to the residents of Bananes Bay? Why are these people left out there to go on maybe private land or other pieces of land in the Castries Basin to try to figure out how they're going to sleep? Why were they left hanging just with the promise of money or the promise of a piece of land. And my other question is concerning the piece of land that you did promise them. What's the location of the piece of land? Where were you planning to relocate them? Question. Where were you planning to relocate them? Because you told them you'll give them lands. Where? And I'm not asking for no friend, you know. I'm asking for myself. And I want to know what GPH is thinking in their. I want honestly to understand what are the plans that GPH has for these people. What are the plans? Because you move from land to money. And from money to land. So I want to know. And like I said, I am asking not for the friend, but I'm asking for myself. And I await the answer. I do await the answer. I do await the answer. Now, I have something that just came in here concerning that this discussion that I'm having. Let me just give me some time here. You know how things happen over here. Give me some time. Yes. I believe it's coming over to our set now. Let me see if I can pull it over. I will be a happy camper if it comes over to the platform. And yes, it did. Yes, it did. So we're going to pull it over on our main system, of course, so that you can listen in. All right? And I believe it is Mr. Chico. Go ahead.
Greetings. Today, 1st of June 2025. I have received my keys for my apartment, the first apartment from the BMAX housing project at Rockall. If I can.
All right, I know we're having some issues there in hearing.
This is.
Oh, this is a different.
All the beautiful condos.
This is the BMAX
Rockall. You can take the northern wing, you can take the eastern wing, the western wing, or the southern wing. So I'm the lucky first recipient of the Rockall condos.
All right, so that one is the wrong clip that came over, but we're going to go back to the Bananes land situation. We're going to go back there. Very important. Very important that we understand what is happening here with the residents, individuals who have occupied this area for a very long time. But look at the condition here. You know, it looked like they're getting ready to move, and so they're breaking down stuff. I'm going to open the lines early because I really want to hear from you, the people.
Us out and we have nowhere to go. So I don't feel that really is a good thing for us.
Some residents are now squatting near the Dr. Betty Wells Urban Polyclinic, formerly Victoria Hospital, as they dismantle their homes. However, they say they will soon have to leave the area where they are squatting as the land they are on is being sold. Meanwhile, concerns are growing over what will happen to the mentally and physically disabled still residing at Bananes.
What kind of...
I believe a call is coming into the system. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media. All right, just bear with me, folks. Just bear with me. We're going to open the lines early. I want to hear from you, the people. Caribbean American News Media Platform. Caller, you're on the air.
How you doing?
Not bad at all. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to know, did the government itself tell us what we should do with GPH? Because, you know, so something I can say, I know there's a turning of the soil and different talks and different things, but still we do not know what is really happening, and we do not know who is given the authority to break down those houses and all what that is happening there. And you know, the sad thing about it is another Labour Party stronghold, the housing and the problems you see.
If the first half of the money when they break down their structures and the other half when they vacate the area.
Government cannot just put people out.
PH pushes forward with its plans to redevelop the Castries port. Some residents, fishermen and business owners at Bananes Bay have expressed dissatisfaction with the offer on the table for them to vacate the area. According to residents, they were first offered land. Now, they say they are being offered money under the terms that they would receive the first half of the money when they break down their structures and the other half.
The complex of what ghetto represents, and you know whose stronghold is that? Our investment minister.
Oh, that is Hila's constituency?
That is Hile constituency. It starts from there all the way down to Marigot.
Wow, and that is the condition.
And that is the condition of the mighty Hile, Ernest Hile. If you see Cicero is in a mess as well. So from all those communities, Fulasho, Banan, and all those different places, Lato going on those places, that's Hile. That is another. That you know how long Castries South in the hands of St. Lucia Labour Party? More than 15 years too, because you remember before Ernest Hile, who it was. I don't really know the issue of the Labour Party too much, but
I believe it was look, I'm forgetting the name. Yes. I will get the name. He was a
chairman for the Labour Party as well. It was Gary Peter Josie and all those guys in that time. I just forgot his name. But that's to show you that is what the Labour Party represents. And there's a situation where in Central Castries, and I'm listening. There's a story developing with the vendors and Richard Frederick, and I'm still hearing GPH name is calling in that. I don't have the details and whatnot. Now that is what we do not know. How far does GPH hand goes within our economy? Is it just if it is just only developing the ports, or is it directly investing in tourism? Now, there's something called, it was a Shasne initiative, community tourism, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if GPH is investing in those aspects of tourism.
We don't
understand?
Know.
Mm-hmm. That is the situation we are faced with. And we have a man like Richard Frederick goes on his talk shows and talk a bunch of stuff that doesn't make no sense as to the governance of the country. You understand? Because those people in Burnham, my brother, you know how long Ernest Hile know those people had a problem. You know how long we have been hearing about GPH before all those things is happening. Who is the head of SLASPA? Is Leo Clark and those guys are part of the SLASPA movement? Who is the head in all those different things? Why do the truckers have to take, for example, because all this is linked into the truckers. Mm-hmm. Because the truckers say that GPH are offloading things there. We have a new crane, it's missing a part. They haven't, because who is running? If SLASPA is running, GPH is running. Yeah. So the problem is there's two leaderships, there's a conflict of interest going on. You understand? Because the truckers are striking, not because they do not have a place to park, because SLASPA is non-functional. no sector of slacks, but when it comes to or GPH, when it comes to managing the ports, making sure boats come on time, to remove the goods on the boats, remove the empty containers, put it there, everybody in check. The buildings in Telesac is working, Viewfort is operational. It is a whole system of a breakdown that is happening, and it is happening with impunity. It is happening with no accountability, and millions and billions of dollars is still going in the pockets of people that we just do not know. Who is GPH?
But caller, you would agree with me that the Bananes Bay area need to be cleaned up and developed. Of course, our issue is not planning with the residents and the business people in mind.
Now let me tell you something again, Brother Garfield. You don't have a problem with Richard Frederick. From 2006, Richard Frederick has came and displaced people. It was always a Labour Party thing, but Richard Frederick break down CDCs, make car parks, put little huts, put bus stops, because the Grenadier bus stop you see there to go to Asu Canal, those different places, the Grenadier bus stop, that area there by behind Delay. That was a CDC that was the Richard Frederick break it down.
Right.
It's nothing there today. The other side where you see they have Rekai there, where the wholesale places there, where DAX have all these things, that was another CDC. Richard break it down, nothing again. The other CDCs by Block X, he break it down, a car park he put there. All those people have been living in Castries Central or in the city for years, 50 years, 40 years. You give those people a little 2.5, and those people never go and rent for a rent already is $1,700 for a single room, who have to go back by their old parents, and those people cause problems that they do not even know what they are causing, because it's not people that will come and speak about those things on a different basis. When you move fishermen from Bananes, my brother, that have been there for 50 or 60 odd years, their whole life, that's what they know, and you bring them in a rural community like Millet or something, they don't know nothing about those things. All they know is the salt water and the sea. What are you doing to those men? Or what are you doing to those people? That's why I told you the AFP always thinking backwards. Those people have to put things in place. They know GPH was coming. Where the condos, Richard Frederick said he would have built in Telesac, that would have housed those people all now by now. If they had just built the condos with the $10 million they gave him, then they would have a place to stay. If he had built the condos, he said in Telesac, the people in Castries Central, when he broke down the city, he would have a place to stay.
Right.
They could have still built a building somewhere in Castries South, because Castries South is a big and beautiful community. It has many secondary schools. It has Pissarro Secondary School. It has Margo Secondary School. It has Laco Mengo Primary School. It has many different geographical things. It has the ONQ Hospital. That's where it is. There's land there for nothing. What happened to big apartment buildings? You living in New York, you know what the projects are. These two big projects. Right in Martinique, Jamaica, all those places have Trinidad has big projects.
Yeah.
Why we cannot build some big apartment buildings and house the people and give the people cheap housing? There are places in the Caribbean right now, housing is just $150, my brother. 3-bedroom houses with AC, everything, $150. And you're telling me solutions do this or that? A nice 3-bedroom apartment, that will uplift the people, man.
Yeah, because thank you so much. We have a very deep housing deficit in the country, and now it is going to be worsened with this whole GPH deal in the place. Now, I am not sure, I keep hearing the Labour Party government, this government is saying that we put the people first, and investors, they used to say investors are leeches, and the people got to be put first, and we saw all the protest on the beach up there with the Cabot link, and they were saying, well, Marjorie has been there for all these years, Margie's there for all these years, and it's unfair, and blah, 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 and they protested, and they kept so much noise, they brought out the people from Dennery, from Soufre, from Viewfort, come down, and let's stand up with our locals because of the leech investor. Those were the words, and now, look at what is happening here. This is not one person on the beach, This is an entire community. It is an entire community that was managed by Robert Lewis, managed by John Odlum, managed by Hilaire, and no plan of action for these residents. They should have never been allowed to live in that area. they should have not. I believe that that in itself, that area is a disaster waiting to happen. And thank God that nothing major, flooding or anything else, have not taken place there. But that place should have been developed for these very same people. That place should have been developed. It is the ideal place to develop so that these people who have been applying their trade there can continue. Now, listen to the nastiness about this. These guys signed a deal with GPH. None of us know exactly what's in it for them, they themselves, the Bananes Bay people. The government signed a deal, basically said nothing to these people, said nothing to them. Okay, so we have a call coming in. Let's take this call, folks. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Good evening, Pastor Garfield. It's been a while.
I know. Just yesterday I was thinking of you. You're on my mind. You're on live. Go ahead, caller.
Okay. I want to touch on that GPH issue and SLASPA and all the saga that is going on in the government of St. Lucia, led by Philip Pierre, who refuses to open his mouth in support of the nonsense that is going on there. Philip Pierre is the one to blame. Now I'm going back to SLASPA. We have never seen our SLASPA, our St. Lucian SLASPA that was put in there by our forefathers, those that toil to bring St. Lucia to where it is today. Okay? We have never witnessed SLASPA in such a mess. Reason why SLASPA is where it is there today. Ernest Hille is the minister, is the tourism minister that has been involved in all shady deals, shady characters, shady movements. We have Martinez, we have the cricket board, we have the Range Rover, we have the Wally Jafali account, we have with Ernest Hille. And I find St. Lucian are tolerating too much crap from those people. I'm going back to SLASPA again. Who is in charge of SLASPA? Who is at the head of SLASPA? Who? St. Lucians, you're not watching your news, you're not listening, you're not reading. You're not making it your business. You're just there listening to the crap that comes out of Philip Pierre's mouth. Ernest Hille is all about friends, family, and foreigners. Ernest Hille's entire clique is in charge of SLASPA. His brother, the Lancelot Arnolds and them, all of them are his friends. And that is why SLASPA is where it is today. Ernest Hille cannot negotiate. All he can see is money. His sticky fingers. That guy sickens me to the core. And St. Lucians are supposed to be outraged with the nastiness that this man is creating in our country. It's the same Ernest Hille when the former administration was negotiating with these people by Bananes Bay. He jumped in and he refused the people to take on the former administration, whether it was with a settlement or whatever the people were trying to do. Like you said, we all know bananas have to be cleaned up and everything. But it started under the UWP administration with the leadership of Alan Chasney.
Talk to me.
And Ernest Hiller was the one who jumped in and convinced the people, just like they did at Madrid, not to take the deal with the UWP government. And I am certainly sure that if it was UWP who was undergoing that thing there at Clasper, the people who were living there would have gotten a good deal. They would have gotten a house and land to put their heads to rest.
But it sounds like the people are confused because they're hearing one time it's land, another time it's money. So, I mean, what is this, a zombie government? There has no plan for the people? Where's the plan for these people?
They cannot have a plan because from day one, remember Mr. Martinez had leaked some of the WhatsApp messages between the fields in the CARICOM ring that are involved in the CIP. And the field said GPH is not a good deal. Mr. Martinez released all these WhatsApp messages. And Ernest Hiller still went on with that deal. You know how many times Mr. Chasney has called on St. Lucian to stand up against the injustice of what Ernest Hiller and Philip JP is doing to this country?
What was the rush with this
the
GPH
Prime Minister
deal?
and the Deputy Prime Minister. And today, everybody, why they crying here, they crying over there. Investors telling people that they buy off their government already and they cannot talk. But let me tell you, that's not the first time this is happening. You see what the people said there at that hotel there? As a shop steward, where I worked, I can never forget that. When I went to represent some staff at one time, the general manager told me the damn same thing.
Yeah?
Yes, at the hotel. And how he did it, he took the labor code, the book, and he slammed, when I was coming down hard on him, he slammed it in front of me. And he told me that is what your government said. And I went in there and I read the section. It was there. And that was under Kenyan Labour government also. And who changed the labor code? Who brought up the new labor code? It was Kenny. So what the gentleman, and the lady said in that interview at Islas Resort, it brought memories back to me.
My Lord.
Okay? And I am telling Lucian, it's time for them to rise up. You don't need an opposition party to say that what is going on there is not right. Do we need an opposition leader to push us? We already seen those firms that they put together to protect the democratic rights of the citizens of St. Lucia and the country. They are all in bed with the Labour Party. They will not speak. Instead of just speaking, Pastor Garfield, I have noticed the medical pattern of behavior. They are all sick. So they cannot talk. God actually take their voices from them. They have to think of their health instead. They cannot speak. It's either cancer, stroke, whatever they get in, they cannot speak. Heart attack, that's what they are dealing with. Those that are in bed that have the voices jumping up on the beach. For Madrid, yo pasa pale. And St. Lucians need to see through that. The poor people, you all are the ones being affected in what that is going on there. It's not the elite. The growing. But they will slam their hands on you all and finish us. And that man they call it Ernest Hilaire. I'm not putting no DR in front of that man name. That man is a disgrace to our country. He's a disgrace to our country. I'm going back a little again to Madrid's place. You think if it was a Labour Party that was in government, they would ever negotiate for a poor woman like Madrid to become a millionaire overnight? It was Alan Shastner and his team, Mr. Shastner, because he can negotiate. He can speak the language. He can. That is what he wants to do. He has the fire in his bosom. God put it there to take off the poor people from where they are in this country and bring them someplace where they are contented with themselves. And this is what the Labour Party stopped. But God knows better. He allowed them there to show St. Lucians who they are today. And we are seeing it unfolding gradually. And fast too. I say gradually, but I will put fast in it too.
Yeah.
And if we cannot understand, we have to see things through the eyes of our God. A lot of us may not understand it because God don't give us, I don't think He has given all of us the gift to see, not to see, but to understand His work. And St. Lucians, you all need to wake up. By now, you should have noticed is that the plans of Philip Pierre, Richard Frederick, Ernest Hilaire, they were part of the plan to stop the progress that God put there for you all. Get up, St. Lucians. Wake up. Do not go back to slumber. Wake up, my people. Wake up. Because our future depends on it, our children. There is genocide, not from day one. I've been saying that when I have been watching the healthcare system in St. Lucia. It's genocide that is going on there, St. Lucia. You don't understand the meaning of the word genocide. You don't have to go to high school. Take your Bible, take your phone. Go on Google. Use the speaker if you cannot spell the word. And ask Google to show you the meaning of the word genocide. A government that doesn't care about your health. St. Lucians, wake up. Don't worry if them telling you all they're going to build the St. Joseph. It's just a show they're putting on. Building a St. Jude's with no service, no medical, no equipment, no nothing in it. We are still going to die. Our families are going to die. There's nothing to bring us back. This government is just a cultish organization.
Yeah.
A lying prime minister, which God tell you had a lying tongue is an abomination unto him.
Yeah, thank you, my
friend. And we expect things to go right. Pastor Gaffney, things cannot go right.
It can't, yeah.
It cannot go right when you have your leaders lying to our people daily. And our people that's tolerating that nonsense. This weekend I saw people dying in St. Lucia. They say like flies. And a good friend of mine passing it. And every time I see that happening, I feel a pain inside of me. Like my people have no love in their hearts anymore. We are in a dark society in this country. We don't care. We have no love. We literally don't have love for our families, right now.
Well, that's a shame, but yeah. So we got to go on, but thank you, my friend, I appreciate the call. I totally agree with, your statements. What can I say?
Have a good night.
Thank you, my friend. And that was, I will call them. Let me see if I can get some information, because I really want to know what was the plan of the United Workers' Party when it comes to the development of that area. What was the plan for the people there? Let me see if I can get someone from the party who can help me out on this one. Just bear with me, please. Bear with me here. Yes, greetings, Mr. Shastny. Oliver here. We're on live. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm a little concerned about the Bananes land area. We're hearing about GPH and the displacement of the residents and business people in that place. What is going on? Do you have any idea?
Well, obviously, we have refused to exercise our democratic rights in Lucia. And what I mean by that, Pastor Garfield, is that the GPH deal has been signed for over a year and a half. And we've continuously allowed the government of St. Lucia to remain silent about the details of the deal. In fact, they've gone as far as to say that it was a secret deal.
And there's a lot of stuff coming out now.
And all we knew is that there was going to be money spent to redevelop Port Castries, and that included the Bananes land.
Right.
Now, one would have expected. Now, let's understand precedence. Marjorie on Cassenbar was the fight from Marjorie about solutions who were on lands that are going to be developed for the benefit of St. Lucia. Was it about her being compensated appropriately? Or was it about politics? Was it more to show up the issue and to use it as a form of protest? But in doing so, we have established a precedence. So Marjorie was paid monies to compensate her for the business that she had developed over the years, correct?
Right, correct.
She was then given a new piece of land that they paid for, the developer paid for. The developer went as far as actually building a new restaurant for her. Okay, so the precedence has now been established.
Right.
That somebody who is going to be relocated in place of a bigger development, that they would be compensated for the business that they had. They would be given land, and they would be given money or an actual building put in place to replace the business they had before.
Right.
So if that is the precedent, then why are we still in negotiations with Marie in Rodney Bay, who a similar action has been taking place? Now, in the case of Marjorie, the developer, Cabot, was made to pay for all of those things that Marjorie got.
Right.
Is it now that the developer is going to be responsible for making the same payments for Marie? And now let's go to the people at Bananes.
Yeah.
So the precedent that's been established is that the developer, in this case GPH, would be required to pay the persons, the fishermen, the stores, the bars, pay them for the business that they have established over all these years. That GPH would now have to pay for new land for them to be relocated to.
Right.
And for monies to build their business back. Because there's no guessing here. That is what the Labour Party promoted and established.
Yeah, yeah.
So why are we having difficulty with this? Why is it at this last minute now that it is the government who is now dealing with, or SLASPO who's dealing with the residents of Bananes? Why is it not GPH?
Right, we're hearing that.
Because remember,
go ahead.
Look how much money you've given GPH. Again, we're having to speculate, and we're seeing press releases coming out. That's where we're getting the information from. The government has never really held a press conference to explain what the deal is and why the deal is a good deal. Why 40 years? Why is it that you increased the tax to $12, the head tax, from $6.50 to $12, and now GPH is going to get $10, and the government of St. Lucia is going to get $2? Right? Why? Why is View Fort being excluded from the development? What exactly is the development that's taking place in Soufriere? Because all we've seen now in Soufriere is a recent announcement that the vendors at the Sulphur Springs, that their fees have gone up, and that the fees to use the docks, which remember have been destroyed in the hurricane over a year ago and have not been rebuilt, but now the fees for the persons going there is going up. Is that because of GPH? Who's getting the money? And I want to say, Garfield, that when we are involved in a democracy, in essence, what we've done is we're giving consent to be governed. Right? Because we can't, all of us, 180,000 people, participate in the day-to-day runnings of the government. So in essence, what we do is we elect a government that represents an ideology.
Yeah.
It's never supposed to be in question that when they get into government that they're supposed to govern for all. Not for some.
Right.
But for all. Okay? But we give them that consent. And I remember saying right after our first parliamentary meeting that this government appears to be drunk on their own arrogance.
Yeah.
And believe that the 15-2 is some kind of, how should I say, approval for them to go and do what they want to do. And I reminded St. Lucians that in the last election, only 50% of St. Lucians voted. Only 50. And of the 50%, half of those people voted for the Labour Party. And 42% voted for United Workers' Party. So imagine the United Workers' Party got more votes in opposition in 2021 than the Labour Party had in 2016. Can we repeat that again?
Of course, why not? Yes.
The Labour Party got less votes in 2016 than the United Workers' Party got in 2017. So 2021, the United Workers' Party got more votes than the Labour Party had while they were in opposition in 2016.
Wow.
But you remember, the Labour Party got 6 seats. We only got 2. And Stevenson King has a lot to play with that.
Right.
Okay? And I said that because of the way that this government is getting on, that we're going to have to establish what we call the People's Parliament. The people of St. Lucia, regardless of which political party that they're affiliated to, must understand that government only functions on the consent of the people. Now, if the government is in breach of what it's required to do, to be transparent and accountable to the people of St. Lucia, to govern the country in a proper way and to follow the rule of law, and if they're not doing that, then we must hold them accountable. And so here it is that we saw what took place with the other piece of Bananes land where it was sold without going out to bid, right? For a fraction of the cost of the value of the land. We said nothing. We heard about the GPH deal and how one-sided it was. We said nothing.
Correct.
We've now seen for ourselves the contracts that were written for Galaxy on the CIP. We see how one-sided and how biased that they are. Okay, we say nothing. We see a contractor, Reno Gajada, boasting that he can spend as much money as he has to finish the St. Jude's Hospital, and that he has spent so much money on transportation that he could have bought a plane. A project that is now over 4 years late, a project which the government said we needed some chemical and some paint, and here it is now that we're spending over $250 million, and we say nothing.
Nothing.
We see that $80 million was given to the Natural Lotteries Association, an entity that does not build anything, and was given $18 million to manage. And up until now, we don't know where the money was spent, on what projects, and who the contractors were. We're only hearing that the minister, that contractors that were involved were relatives of his. And those same contractors, the same relatives, are also doing developments for him. We have every right to ask the questions.
Yeah.
And I come back to the Bananes land. If we're not going to hold the government accountable, and we're not prepared to hold the government accountable, then we're going to be abused.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing right now.
And that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Now, United Workers' Party has restructured itself, come with 12 new candidates, young people who are at the peak of their careers and who are willing to get involved. And we're going to see every attempt to marginalize those persons. We saw it with Elijah, trying to force him to resign when he doesn't have to resign.
Yeah.
And we're going to see with Roche, we're going to see with all the different candidates we've come up with. I was happy to hear Tommy Descartes, the new candidate for Castries South, speak about this issue today.
Yeah.
And he's had the opportunity to meet with the people from there. And the first thing I know that he's working on is to make sure that they have legal representation.
Yes.
And they understand what their rights are.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
And United Workers' Party will support Tommy and will make sure that the precedents that have been established already by this government, that a solution that is going to be displaced on land that's going to be used for national development, which is what this is going to be, need to be compensated.
Yeah.
I need to be fairly compensated.
Yeah.
And again, Marjorie, the precedence as to what that is has already been established.
Yeah.
And we're going to fight. We're going to fight for Marie. We're going to fight for all solutions to make sure that they're treated equally.
Yeah.
And there's not one set of rules for one or an opportunity for convenience.
For convenience, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, and in this particular case, it's for political convenience.
Yeah.
It was never about development. It was never because they cared about Marjorie.
Yeah.
So this government is being exposed every single day, and it's for solutions, all solutions, whether you're a supporter of the Labour Party, a supporter of the United Workers' Party, independent, or that you've abstained from voting in the past. These issues matter.
Yep. Yep.
And United Workers' Party without the support of the people, without people understanding and appreciating where did we come from as a people, Pastor Garfield. Where did we come from? Indentured workers. We got our independence so that we could make our own determination to our future, but to make sure that the resources of the country were being used to help improve the quality of life. Imagine working as an indentured worker and that your child turns 10 years of age and what you have to look forward to is for them carrying cane. And that the community that you live in will never be improved. The prosperity of getting and educating your children would not be there. The prosperity, the opportunity of having proper health care was not there.
Not there.
That is what independence was all about. But we must take it seriously. I must understand that this is not a 5-year thing. This is every day. You've given your consent. And we have a right that if in fact, and we see it, the people and the checks and balances that are supposed to be there are being marginalized. Where are the public servants that were supposed to stand up and protect the people in Bananes? Where are their voices? Where is civil society to understand the importance of governance and proper representation? And if in fact all those systems have failed, we can only speculate that it's either that there are people who are benefiting currently under this administration and are saying nothing, or there are people who are too scared to say anything.
Yeah.
So it means that we the people, are going to have to come out and show and stand up the same way that the truck drivers have. The same way that people in Rosal stood up for their road.
Yeah.
The same way that customs officers have had to go on sick leave to stand up for their own rights. Well, we're going to have to come together collectively to hold this government accountable, because what we're seeing is gross mismanagement of our economy. We're seeing unprecedented levels of corruption.
Yeah, and there's still no information on the halls of justice.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to go and spend $6 million to build what? A couple of cells? And you know what the absurdity of it was? Is that some people were convinced that when we demolished the old building that we did something wrong. Yeah. Let me remind all solutions again. The National Trust has a special power of declaring historical buildings. Do you know that?
Nope.
Yep.
Wow.
So the National Trust can declare a building a historical building, and it must be gazetted. So it goes into a registry.
And that was not done.
Well, let's understand why. What's the purpose of that? The purpose of that is that if, in fact, there's any changes that have to be made, you first must seek the permission of the National Trust to do so. So it becomes part of your planning approval. Mm-hmm. Correct? Makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. The custody suites was never a historical building, and nor should it ever been a historical building. And you're telling me that in 2019 we were still putting people in a holding cell in a building that was grossly inappropriate, and that you wanted now to come and build a proper police headquarters, and adjacent to it would be a courthouse, where the custody suites would have been underground and connected by a tunnel to the courthouse. From a security perspective, how much better that would be on a piece of land that is 5 times the size of what the current piece of land that they want to build the halls of justice on, or 5 times the size.
But Mr. Leader, I heard, I believe it was Richard Frederick, housing minister, saying that you know, that is crazy. The area there is below water level, and it's impossible to build any underground anything in the area there.
But that's nonsense. That's on the other side of the bridge.
That's right.
That's at a much higher level. Anybody can go and see that for themselves. Mm-hmm. Unlike the piece of land that they did, where after they went 4 feet, they already hit water.
Mm-hmm. Wow, 4 feet.
Okay, go and see how strong the turf is over there. And more importantly, you have the entrance by Farron's Dairy. I don't know how you remember those days.
Yes.
Okay, that's where the land goes, the back of the land goes. You have another piece that would have connected on the Brazil Street, and then you have the piece that goes over by the factory.
Mm-hmm.
Three outlets. Plenty of space for parking. Okay, and the plan for beautifying Castries, the plan that we had was to include Castries into tourism, and not just cruise tourism, but into the conference businesses and the meetings. And that's why the idea of moving the airport terminal to the other side, connecting it with the fast ferry, moving the marine police to where the Bananes land was. And we weren't going to expand the capacity of the cruise industry, because you already have all these new hotels coming up north. The congestion you're going to create was to improve the quality of the experience that people had.
Yeah.
And that's by building the cruise ship port in the south so we can have home porting, particularly because of Europe. That's where the growth was going to come from. And St. Lucia would have been at the forefront of that. The airport terminal, the new hospital, putting in a university, a medical university, the development of the DSH project. All of these things were integrated. And what? To grow the economy of St. Lucia so that St. Lucians can be more prosperous. What have we seen now in the last 4 years? We've seen a regression. We were failing to really understand the significance of when we hear that 4,000 people have opted out of the workforce. Have they simply just gone home, or have they left St. Lucia? And we're seeing a reverse migration again. I was proud of the fact that under the United Workers' Party, under the last administration, that we were encouraging and seeing solutions willing to come back home. That's a vote of confidence. That has been lost again. And we must take back control of our own country. And that is meaning that we must take our consent seriously. And as I said, what we see going on in CIP, NLA, mismanagement of St. Jude's, mismanagement of HIA. Look what's going on with the roads in St. Lucia. Look what's just happened with SLASPA. SLASPA has collapsed before our very own eyes.
Yep.
It is time for us to take back control of our country. It is time for us to right the wrong, but that cannot start unless we make the first move, regardless of which political party you're affiliated to. When the time comes to let your voice be heard and to let this government know that they must remain accountable and they cannot continue to treat us with a level of arrogance. But I'm proud that we have listened and we're going out and getting people that have succeeded in life, that have something to bring to the table and are focused on good governance and developing our country and to allowing St. Lucia to compete in a very globally difficult time. You know that.
Yep. And one thing
meanwhile, the people in Bananes are suffering.
They're suffering. And you know what I'm comforted by? That the United Workers' Party and the candidate there, Mr. Tommy, he is standing with them and will not allow them to stand alone. And that is a good thing. But it's just sad that you have a government negotiating, but yet leaving the people out, the locals out of that negotiations. The very same thing they accuse your administration of, loving foreigners over the locals.
This particular group of people who make up the Labour Party are in it for themselves. And all of the rhetoric is just rhetoric.
Yeah.
When they speak about putting people first, that's never true and has not been true. And that they have blatantly, they're just lying at will and have disrespected and continue to disrespect the people of St. Lucia and the people they claim they're representing. And they seem to forget that they're there through the consent of the people. And if in fact we don't stand up to what is constitutionally correct and to force this government to remain accountable to the people of St. Lucia, we will end up like Haiti. Because what we are seeing is the dismantling of our law enforcement. I mean, I've not said anything recently, but my security officer was taken away from me.
Yeah.
Under the pretext that there was an investigation. First of all, it was supposed to be health, then it was something else, then there was a complaint filed, and now today, there's no investigation into him, and in fact, he's being promoted.
Promoted?
But yes, and has not been sent back to me.
So there's no investigation.
But there could be no investigation. The whole thing was a farce to begin with.
Oh my Lord!
But the point is that forget Alan Chastney.
Mm-hmm.
This is a breach of a significant institution, an independent institution that has been politicized, and when we allow the politicization of all of our institutions. So why is it the Director of Finance has said nothing about what's going on with CIP? Why does the Attorney General's office has not said anything? You know, there's a court case that started in 2013 against me. A constituency case in Soufrière.
Soufrière, yeah.
All right. The government has spent over $500,000 in legal fees.
Whoa.
And they claim to recover $30,000, but it's not even really $30,000 because the real amount of money that could potentially be in discrepancy is $2,000 because when Third World came down, the only money that the Soufrière Town Council paid for Third World performing was the catering. I paid for the airfare, I paid for the hotel, I paid for the land transportation. Okay? So the only thing that the Soufrière Town Council paid for was $2,000. And they've spent over $500,000.
For $2,000.
And the opportunity for them to have withdrawn the case once more, because you can't even find witnesses for the case. All right? That they chose to continue the case and to spend the taxpayers' money on a case like this.
Such a shame. Yeah.
That's their perspective, okay? And that's on not even on a criminal case, on a civil case.
Yeah.
Right? And is that an abuse of power?
It is.
An abuse of authority. Now, if they're doing that to the leader of the opposition, far less the people in Bananes, far less Marie, far less all the other persons that are depending on a proper healthcare system, far less all the persons who are seeing the cost of living rising in this country and are suffering, and meanwhile their wages are not increasing.
Oh boy. So the people feel as though their own government is against them, especially the Bananes residents over there.
Sure. And you have ministers going on a platform to want to go and boast about building the roads. Remember, these are the same people that said you can't eat roads.
Can't eat, yeah. Get the people the money. They're hungry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. That is a requirement. That's a requirement. Your representation has to be about making sure that you protect the integrity of our institutions.
Yeah.
That you continue to support policies and do things to allow St. Lucia to prosper. Not what is going on in the country today. You cannot come and boast about a couple of roads that you may have done, and meanwhile, Wasco is collapsing, Slaspa is collapsing, roads are collapsing. That we see billions, not millions of dollars anymore, but billions of dollars being squandered.
Yeah.
And questioning as to where they're going and who's benefiting.
And don't forget our airport is falling apart there in Vieux-Fort.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. St. Vincent is going to be expanding its airport. We can't even build a terminal. And St. Vincent started from scratch. Dominica is starting from scratch.
Yep.
This is a visionless government. This is a malicious government.
Yes.
This is a government that is destroying the livelihoods of all solutions. And it's time for all of us to say to your listeners, United Workers' Party is ready. We have our candidates in place. We have capable people who have the fortitude and the backbone to stand up to this government and to make sure that we start developing this country. And when we get their support, that we will not get drunk on the arrogance of their support and take it for granted. Yeah. We must be in office to represent all solutions.
That's right.
Not just some.
But all, yes, all the people.
But all.
All right. Thank you so much.
And let us go and fight and fight and fight, because there is a fight in the world.
Yep.
And that's who our enemy is. Our enemy is progress.
Yep.
Meaning that anybody who wants to stop the progress of St. Lucia, those are our enemies.
Yep. We must stand up.
But I'm proud of Tommy, and I just want you to know, as the political leader of the United Workers' Party, that we will stand with him and stand with his constituents.
All right. Yes, I was very impressed today, hearing him for the first time. Very impressed. And he made me proud to be a United Workers' Party strong code yellow.
And look, and I was happy to hear Stephen Favre come out with his own message as to the representation he wants to offer to the people in Vieux-Fort North.
I did play them earlier. Yes.
And I thought that Herod Stanislaus did a phenomenal presentation.
Yes.
Speaking about what's taking place at the port.
Yes.
So I feel very encouraged, and all solutions should feel very encouraged and optimistic about what the future has to hold. But what we all need to do now is to play our part and understand that you are the ones who have empowered the government of St. Lucia by giving your consent on a daily basis. And if they are misrepresenting the interests of the people of St. Lucia, do not believe that you only have to wait every 5 years before you can reconsider the consent that you've given.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, but thank you so much, Mr. Opposition Leader, for taking my call. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, so that was the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Alan Chastney, former Prime Minister of St. Lucia, and I deliberately gave him all the time to speak to you, the people of St. Lucia. Now we're going to take our final call. I do not want to keep you up. Final call, caller, you're on the air. Caribbean American News Media Platform. Go ahead, caller.
Pastor Garfield.
The man of the hour. Yes, sir.
Well, you're doing a great job, man. Serious.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You've been doing a fabulous job, man. Fantastic job. Man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Honestly, man, that's true.
Yeah, it means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, I know you want to go bed now. But
I'm preparing for a lot of activities this week. Yeah, so it's just a lot. But go ahead. Good to hear you.
If you look around, right, you would notice that Africa has moved into the OCS, you know.
Yeah.
The African style of leadership has moved into the OCS.
Yeah,
meaning they keep the people poor, the leaders get very rich, very, very, very rich, and they keep the people very, very poor. That's what's happening now in St. Lucia, Grenada, Dominica, St. Kitts, Antigua, those places. Now, another thing, I am not feeling sorry for the St. Lucians, man, for my people. I am not. But they show us stupidity all the time. They show us stupidity. You won't tell me. You had Kenny Anthony there, Dr. Kenny Anthony there. He tried to borrow money from the IMF and the World Bank. Nobody will lend him money. The great man, Sir Alan Michael Shastek, came in there. And he said, give me 3 years. He took a plan to the IMF. And the IMF told him that's not going to work. Let's fast forward. He proved them wrong. He got St. Lucia back on float. You're going to take that country and put it back in the Mongoose gang hand? Who does that, Jaffy? Who does that? Who does that? Garfield.
Good question. Who does that? The people living in a democracy does that, really.
A democracy? Listen, has there been a month for these guys to do something to start a riot in St. Lucia? Has there been a month since they've been in office that those guys, the Mongoose gang, the communist SFP Mongoose gang, zombie government, they do something wrong to start a riot? Every month, you know. Every month. When the great man Sir Alan Michael Shasty was there, they hit the street for gas. Gas price, $13.95. $13.95, you know.
What's the price of gas now on the island?
I think about $16. Wow. When they came in, they raised it to $17.95.
Oh wow! It went up to 17.
It went to $17.95.
Wow, that's high.
And solutions said thank you and they gave pay red carpet for that.
I know we had issues on the world market with gas, but 17 and 16, I think. 16 is really high for now. Because
I
most
think-
of the region, they should be a little lower. I think maybe around $14 or $13 a gallon.
Everybody is lower.
Yeah.
I think, dollar for dollar, I think St. Lucia is selling gas the most expensive in the world, on the planet.
You
right
think
now.
so?
I think so.
Yeah, man.
Let's go dollar for dollar.
Oh, okay.
Let's go dollar to dollar. I think St. Lucia is selling gas the most expensive on the planet right now. You must check it out.
I will.
We're saying the OECS, no, OECS, in the world. Gabriel, could you believe that Bogus guy have supporters still?
Well, again,
Who
democracy.
the world support? Oh, but Gabriel, let me tell you something. I can speak to you. We can do there 10 the next 20 shows. The things I got to tell you, you know.
I know. I got to give you a whole show for that.
I said yesterday, the Bogus guy, the SFP Bogus guy, turning down the new hospital, the new terminal. What else? The new terminal, the new hospital, housing area, everything. That's top of the line they turned down. And they gone back to the old riggedy thing. Garfield, if that was a Bermuda, that ain't happening.
You reckon that?
That's not happening. It's not happening here. No, that ain't happening. They would not even carry the thought of doing that. All hell will break loose. All hell will break loose, Garfield. All hell will break loose. And guess what? And no party be started it, you know. No political party be started it, you know. If people doing what they got to do. Okay? So, I know you want to go there, so I can finish with this.
Yeah.
As I said, I got a lot to say.
Thank you.
None of those guys could be on the ballot in Barbados or Bermuda, you know. None of those guys are the Bogus gang. But before I go there, those guys are so bad that their guru leader, Dr. Kenny Anthony, when he had his last supper, he said, listen, I don't have no seat for y'all at my table. I do not have a seat for any of y'all at the table, and I don't want you around my house. I don't want you around my house. Stay far from me. Doesn't that test solution something?
Yeah.
Let me get back to my point. Those guys couldn't be on the ballot in Barbados or in Bermuda. But here it is. I will bet you. The only man that could beat me and Motley, in Barbados right now is the great man Sir Alan Michael Shastri. And he beat her hands down. You see the difference?
Yeah.
You see the difference? The rest cannot make the ballot. And the great man Motley, the great man would chew and spit out. Easy. Okay? That's only shows how dumb St. Lucians are.
St. Lucians very smart.
Who?
St. Lucians are very smart.
St. Lucians are the land of the Ossibos, man. You can get them in the truck roads, man. You compare the trucks, man. Well, land of the Ossibos. Listen to me. During the midst of COVID, you know, yes, you can have the biggest march in history of St. Lucia.
And he did, yeah. Not the biggest in history, but...
Hold on. That was a time we had stayed 6 feet apart from one another.
I know.
You had a big march. You had a big march up and down the street of Castries. And about that time, speaking the correction, I think the great man had about 3 deaths. They had a big banner in front, a big banner, you know, saying no COVID in St. Lucia. COVID all over the world taking lives.
No, I think that banner was doctored. That banner was altered online.
No. I watched it live. I took a picture. I showed it to my wife. My wife told me take a picture.
Are you on the ground?
My wife told me take a. No, I wasn't on the ground. It was during COVID. We were here in Bermuda, but I was watching it live, and I went to my wife. She was in the kitchen, and I said, "What's this? What's all this sign saying?" She said, "You know what? Take a picture and send it to the spin tomorrow." That's what she told me. I did that. I said it, and they tell me, "No, doctor, the sign said that. No COVID in St. Lucia. Nobody fool you. St. Lucia is just stupid." I read it. She read it. She would tell me, "Take a picture and send it." I took a picture and I sent it to him, and I said, "No, not good, doctor. Garfield, this is my people. I love St. Lucia. This is my countrymen, you know. I tell you, I call a spade a spade. They're stupid people." And after the COVID, and after the March, there was over 500 deaths.
Yeah.
Over 500 deaths.
Yeah, there were over 400. Yeah.
That was, you know, you call that? That was genocide.
Yeah, that was serious.
And
Innocent
it's
senior citizens lost their life because of the reckless behavior of the SLP.
And if the Lucians are smart, they get together and take it to court. And not in the Caribbean court, you know. The ICC, not the International Cricket Council, you know. The International Criminal Court.
Yeah.
Because that's a genocide.
Yeah. But I
And
got...
the Donald said, yay. They still backing on jokers. And every day, I'll end with this. A lot of projects, or those statuaries that the great man, GPH, and other stuff, Richard Bronson, all those guys brought deals, so-called deals in front of the great man. And you know the great man told him, "Nah, I ain't like that. I ain't like that. No, go and come again, man. I go and come again." He lost the election, and they just threw it in front of the Mongoose gang. And they just swallowed it, just like that. Bunch of idiots. The blind leading the blind. You ain't got one person in the Mongoose gang that can lead. Not one.
You call the guys Mongoose gang, right?
The communist SFP Mongoose gang, John B. government in Barbados, they call John B. Sparrow. Tell me one guy in that Mongoose gang you think should be Prime Minister. Tell me, name one. They got 70 of them. You know what senators do? Give them a 2/3 majority. Can you believe it? Can you really believe it?
Well,
these guys that should not be on the ballot solutions, give them a 2/3 majority.
Well, the people have spoken.
People have spoken?
Yep.
People have spoken? I asked you a question. Name me one guy in the John B. government. One guy that's Prime Minister material. Name one.
Man, you can't put me on the spot like that. I got to get my magnifying glass and everything else.
Oh my God! Okay, you just answered the question. You just answered the question. You just answered the question.
Well, thank you so much, though. Thank you so much.
Have a good night. Have a good night, sir.
Thank you. All right, so our last call. Calling you on the air. I wanted to give you the opportunity. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Brother Gaffel. How are you doing?
Not bad at all. Thank you so much for holding on to the line.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem, my brother. Brother Gaffel, I wanna take a different route as to what is happening with GPH. I wanna draw something here for our St. Lucian people to understand. Brother Gaffel, while the Labour Party was in opposition, and that golf course by Carbot, the land and all those stuff, wasn't that land privately owned?
Yes, it was. I believe it was the property at the time of the bank.
The bank, which was Nova Scotia Bank.
Yeah, Canadian bank.
Right.
Yeah.
That's correct. And Cabot went ahead and took a loan from NIC to buy that property.
And by the way, the SLP said that Alan Shastney government sold the land.
Yeah. But I'm drawing the reference. I'm trying to draw something for people to see what is really happening. And this is why, after this election, Labour must never come back to this country as an SLP party again. That should be done, because what I'm drawing there is to make people see why these guys are doing what they're doing today. Brother Garfield, just a few years ago, they did that. Cabot land was privately owned, sold by the bank to Nova Scotia Bank to Cabot. The other question is, how many people that Cabot had to displace on that land? Do you remember how many people were squatting that land, Brother Garfield? I can remember only one vendor being that they were talking about displacing, right or wrong. Marjorie was the only person based on my recollection.
Yes, you are right.
Okay. So here we have a privately owned property with one squatter on it. These guys were ready to burn the entire country down.
Yeah.
I want you to understand what I'm saying,
Yep.
These guys wanted to burn the entire country for a property that was privately owned. Because you know what? The white man wanted to throw a St. Lucian out of the land, prevent her from making a living. She was there for X amount of years. We all know how that went.
Yes.
Brother Garfield,
I remember they said that Alan
fast-forward.
Chastney wanted to he brought in the leeches.
Yeah.
Investors
Let's
were called
fast-forward.
leeches.
Leeches, yes. Let's fast forward to today, Brother Garfield. The area we're talking about, who is that property? No, we need to ask this question,
Good.
Because that is what you make people understand. Now we are talking about Crown land. And if we go back in the history books, Crown land was owned by the Queen. At the time, it was the Queen. And when we became independent, I'm not sure what year, but those lands were not then passed on to the people of St. Lucia.
Yep.
If I'm correct.
Yes, I
To the
read that
people of
somewhere.
St. Lucia.
Yes.
Okay. So here we are today in 2025. An investor, quote unquote, leased that land. But Garfield, we need to be careful, as to when we just say things and not explain it to people. The investor didn't just lease the land if the government didn't partake in that deal,
Yep.
Okay? Why is it you have so many people squatting on that land which is owned by the government? You, as a government minister who sat down, signed those deals, didn't think of all those people there. But I remember again, Marjorie, a few years ago, Marjorie, one person, my brother. Not that I'm saying that the one person is not important. I'm just showing you how labor operates. They will burn down the entire country, my brother, to make the point. They bring the point across, because what they want to bring across, they will. Let's go back some years back now. Let's go far back in 1995, 96. Kenny Anthony decided too many people that were uneducated were wealthy in this country. And most of the people that were making all this money, people were making $10,000 a month selling banana farmers. Okay? They were uneducated. You know how they were calling them? Country bookies. You know that.
Country bookies, yeah.
You're from the country.
Yep.
So these guys, they were not wearing suit and tie. They were not making too much money. Here was the Labour Party orchestrated on the strike called Coupe Pa Coupe, run by Pat Joseph. Right?
I was there.
And what happened during that time? What happened and what are we facing today? Brothers and sisters of St. Lucia, stop repeating history by those crooked politicians because all these guys are doing is just changing the name, but it still remains the same, my brother. My brother, anytime Labour Party feels like it cannot get a grip of the people or will see that they will not win elections, these are the things they do. They create a whole fracas around the island and make the people go against each other, you know, just so they can get into governance. It happened in 96, 97, and then it happened in 2021 with that Marjorie thing. Jack don't want you to bathe on my beach. Now, you know who Jack is? Who Jack is now, right?
Jack is the government.
Jack is the government. Jack is not allowing those people a place to live.
Yeah.
Jack is not giving those people or didn't make adequate homes available for those people to live before they could sell the land.
And caller, that would have been a perfect opportunity to build a brand new community for them.
That's
relocate
what I was
them.
coming and say, my brother.
They had the perfect
If
opportunity.
This government was serious, if they were serious, my brother, if they were serious. But my brother, that is never the intention. If they do these things next election, how are they going to run on calling the people poor? If they're not poor, how are you going to run election? That's what they've been running on from 1990. And that's what I remember, I'm telling you.
Well, that is about to change.
From 1995, 96, 97, running on the backs of the poor people, the people that are not educated. This is what they keep doing to those people. And you know who they're using for it? Remember how they keep calling some people in the United Workers' Party house slaves?
Yeah.
My brother, you can just turn that around, you know. They're using educated people as house slaves, they are, to keep fooling and oppressing on those people that do not know better. Why am I saying all of this? I'm a St. Lucian. Why is he's been so negative about our people? No, I'm not. It is evident that those people that are supposed to safeguard our constitution are the very people that are destroying the country. You know, because of what? Because of greed. That's what it is, my brother. We have to call the spade a spade. You know, it is all because of greed. My brother, if those people that are running those institutions, those PSCs, these people, do we even have constitution lawyers? Do we have that? These people, are they even relevant? You know.
Sometimes we have to ask ourselves too, do we really have a constitution?
Well, that is true. That is true. You know, because I am saying this, Brother Garfield, when you look at all our institutions today, Brother Garfield, none of these things are functioning as they should. None. Zero. You know, look at the basic rights St. Lucian is supposed to receive. Water. This is not me saying it, you know. The Constitution says it. The government ought to provide its people with that. These are basic stuff that they're supposed to provide the people. Water. Every single day, you have people calling the program about water. You know, Brother Garfield, from the time I was a little boy, I used to live leave the community I'm living and walk all the way down, maybe 30 minutes to fetch water early morning or late night. My brother, in 2025, and this nonsense is still going on. You know, what are we becoming? Are we becoming Haiti? Is that what we're becoming? And that's what's good for us? Look at a simple thing as to where a halls of justice is to be built. And you telling me that we ought to have a difference in terms of which government is there, where it is supposed to build? What are we doing? Is it the halls of justice we want, or we want something else? What is it we want? You see, the institution doesn't even work, brother. The justice system doesn't even work. Those buildings that will be built, I am telling you, there will only be, it will just be another white elephant again. You know, if it wasn't for COVID, that OKU hospital would still be a white elephant in this country. I'm telling you, whether we want to believe it or not, COVID changed the fate of that hospital, my brother. You know, we are not serious. You know, people need to be more serious in this country. I see people on the news talking about, you all about to be displaced, and this is how you all are reacting? Like, y'all are not serious. Where is the community that is squatting on that land? Why are they not together? You see, the level that Labour Party has destroyed those people. They have lost empathy and sympathy over them.
We have a bigger issue. The bigger issue for me is that these people are squatting now on other people's property, and the code. Who deals with building code and building in St. Lucia? I don't understand. I saw the guys putting up pieces of stick to do some construction for a home. And we're talking about equity, and we have a problem. I can tell you that, Chief.
My brother, let me tell you
a problem.
Let me give you a story. Many St. Lucians,
very short because I got to run.
Yes. Many St. Lucians will realize that's what's happening in the country, and you might even have information on this. Do you know that there are lawyers that will basically sign documents, make people pay for these lands, and lawyers will sign documents, but these land that those people claim to have a document for, that their names are not registered for these lands in the registry.
Yeah,
do you know that?
Yeah, I hear a lot of those.
They have those papers to show, but they don't own the land. Technically, they don't own the land.
Yeah,
my brother. We need to do something, and we need to do it quick.
Yes.
You know, thank you very much, and a great show as usual.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, folks, so we had a lot more to do, but we're not going to do it. But God bless you. Thank you so much for being here with us. Before you go, let me just drop this one quickly on you. To be fair to you, you were beautiful tonight. All of you were very good viewers. Thank you. And even our hacks were very controlled. I really appreciate it. So let's listen to this, right? I want you to listen to something here.
I think you said January.
Yes, it's continuing now. Work is happening.
It's continuing. Work is happening
What stopped the work was our adherence to principle and policy. We will not continue unless we are planning approval. That's how this government behaves. That's how we act.
It should have started since February of this year, however.
No, wrong. Very wrong. Anyhow, that's when
it's stated in the contract.
Which contract?
The contract with BMAX.
That has been suspended. You didn't know?
Well, the contract has been suspended.
Yeah, you're not following the news. Long time.
No, why has the contract been suspended?
Because the government decided that because of the discussion happening, that you will stop the contract. That's a long time. This is still news.
Well, that's news to me.
Well, let's continue with your question. It has been suspended. Yeah.
Oh, and so you were actively seeking a new
minutes.
You are actively seeking a new investor? You've secured a new investor,
the government,
a new developer?
The housing project in Rockall is continuing.
As a CIP project?
It's continuing.
As a CIP project?
It's continuing.
Okay, so you're not prepared to give us any details?
What's the details when the people begin to live in the houses? That's a detail.
Okay, Lisa, you have exhausted your time on the microphone. Any other questions before I close?
That's your PBAX project for you folks. I'm sorry, I apologize. I know it's out of taste for me to be laughing there, but that is the story, all right? Here's your condo. I'm giving you the first condo. Bear with me. Your first condo. Where is the
condos to the local council.
The local council.
So that would allow the local council to be empowered and to grow.
Empowered and to grow.
Hold a minute.
God have mercy upon us.
Wait. So we got to do this before I go. Let's do this one. because some of you like condos. You need your condos. No, that's not it. Just bear with me, folks. Relax. Nah.
We will leave the distribution or sale of the condos to the
local council.
The local council.
So that would allow the local council to be empowered and to
be
grow.
Empowered and to grow
Yes.
and to basically
Tom and Jerry
target
moment.
those, because there are loads of people, because I believe the prices are going to be right.
Yes.
The greed of some people may raise its ugly head.
Yes.
Persons who have a house may want a condo. And I
Yeah.
don't think that's the way we should go. We should really look at the needs of the people. Council will be in the best position to assess that and to deliver to those we believe who are in most need.
The cul-de-sac housing complex is funded under the government's massive island-wide housing assistance program, which has been allocated well over $20 million in the 2022-2023 budget estimates.
Can afford a condo. Then as long as we come in as NHC and we do the construction, we will leave the distribution or sale of the condos to the
local council.
The local council.
So that would allow the local council to be empowered and to
be
grow.
empowered and to grow
Yes.
and to basically target those, because there are loads of people, because I believe the prices are going to be right.
Yes.
The greed of some people may raise its ugly head.
Yes.
Persons who have a house may want a condo. And I
Yeah.
don't think that's the way we should go. We should really look at the needs of the people. Council will be in the best position to assess that and to deliver to those we believe who are in most need.
The cul-de-sac housing complex is funded under the government's massive island-wide housing assistance program, which has been allocated well over $20 million in the 2022-2023 budget estimates.
Can afford a condo.
So I hope you guys are enjoying your condo. You'll need faith. You know what faith is? What you can see, you hope for. So we hope for the condos in cul-de-sac. Is it cul-de-sac? I was hearing right. Maybe not cul-de-sac. Maybe Grossile. Nah, I think I heard cul-de-sac. But folks, there is your Tom and Jerry moment. And we look forward to both your Rock Hall and your cul-de-sac condos. Mr. Chico got his key, but he has no lock or no door to open. Hey, put in you first, folks. Enjoy your condo. Okay, Condo City, we're gone. We look forward to seeing you at our next broadcast. We should be having a special broadcast on Thursday. I'm not sure. I got to confirm that again see if DBS has anything. But folks, so long. Bye-bye. Pray, enjoy your rest, and thank you so much for being here on Caribbean American News Condo City. Wise me, folks. Enjoy.